How are you? Hope you're doing great. Happy Saturday if it's Saturday out there. Maybe it's Sunday for some overseas. But I want to say hi, and also I'm gonna start another story time. This story time is gonna be about the time that I was living on the island of Pohnpei. That's in Micronesia. Yeah. Originally it's Pohnpei, but lately, maybe since the 70s or something, they changed it to Pohnpei. And I moved there in 1995. I was pregnant at the time. I was with my husband. We moved there on a business trip. So we moved to a town called Colonia, and we lived on the street called Kumunlaid, sort of a cul-de-sac street. There we lived we were the second to the last house, or third to the last house on the block. Our landlord was Rose David. I think her name was no. Wait. No, her name was Rose, but in between our home that we were renting was between Mary David and Elizabeth Honda. I kept to myself maybe 95% of the time, so I didn't really get to know my neighbors too well. I just hear snippets here and there of Mary David lives next door, and Elizabeth Honda. When my mother came by to help me out by the time I gave birth, she was with me for about 6 months, and then she's the social butterfly, so she got to know a lot of my neighbors, and they ended up coming out meeting us because of my mom. She's Miss Social Butterfly. So Elizabeth Honda she got to know us quite a bit. We got to know her as well. She's from the village of Kichi, Kitti, but it's pronounced Kichi, like kimchi without the M. And her husband, she married a foreigner from Japan. Fresh off the jet, Japan. He wasn't born there in Pohnpei, but they have a beautiful daughter named Kaori. And Kaori, I think, was 10 at the time. This was 1995. And then they had a really cool sakao bar behind their home. I don't know if it belonged to Elizabeth, or I think it did, but I thought I didn't really know my neighbors that well, but I remember something about another man that was running the place. Possibly could be her brother. So that was the neighborhood story. The cool neighborhood. There was a nice little mom and pop store just maybe half a block up the road, where they would sell necessities and canned goods. And then at the end of the street was a fisher market and also a Nakasone store. This was lower neighborhood of central Colonia. We had a nice view of the causeway where a lot of people drive out, and which is, I think that's the way out to the airport and the seaport, the fisheries. And there was a cool beach there called Misco's Beach. Beautiful place, calm water. At the time, getting a taxi was like $1 per stop. It was really cool. Anywhere you go, businesses had telephones that the public could use if they needed a taxi. They had the dial-up taxi where you could call and call dispatch and get a ride, come by, pick you up anywhere you are and drop you anywhere you want to go. Beautiful island. Pohnpei is so beautiful. Oh my gosh. It's like modernized. All the roads are like paved, and the towns are beautiful. That was actually my second time to Pohnpei. The first time I went there was a personal trip. We were trying to get visas for my husband at that time. A first attempt to get him a visa, and the main immigration office is there in Pohnpei, which you had to go to Palikir, I believe. And we were staying with a close friend of my mother's, the Sign family from Sekere. They were so gracious, we just went there on a whim. They didn't know anything about it, and they welcomed us in and allowed us to stay with them for the time being needed to process our spousal visa. That visa unfortunately was denied. Some things are meant to be. But nonetheless, a gracious thank you to the Sign family from Sekere. And Eleanor, she's from Sokes. There's two parts of Sokes. I don't remember which exact part of Sokes she's from, but she's like close by the not the mountainous side, but along the coastal side. And so I didn't really tour too much of Pohnpei. Like I never went to Madalenium, Kichi, and the farther parts. I only went a little bit up. Not even Nanmadol. There was another town where you go up. Forgive me for butchering names of the places. It's been years. There was a town where you could go way up the hill, up to the mountain, and there's like a restaurant up there. I can't remember the name, but I used to go on a daily. While my husband was away at work, I would bring my baby. When she was just an infant, I'd bring her every day on a taxi and just go exploring. I'd go to the stores, I'd go to the park, the library, whatever, beach, or but not to the waterfalls though. Only once we went while my husband was off. We took a taxi out there. My husband, my mother, my baby, and I. We went out to Nech, Nett, and Nech. It's the way it's pronounced. We went to a swimming area there. It's like a freshwater pond, and we didn't get to climb up to see where the falls descended from, but we swam in there. You just give the owner $1, you park, you give the owner $1, and you walk the trail in and you go swimming. Beautiful place. Our neighbor Elizabeth Handa, her and her husband, her family took us out on their personal motorboat and took us to a little getaway island, not very far, maybe a 20-25 minute boat ride out to another island, secluded. No one's living there, but I guess they use it as a little picnic area. So we went there, had a picnic. It was so nice. And then let's see what else happened there in Pohnpei. I only stayed my second time at Pohnpei. I only was there for about 6 months, I think. But in the 6 months, I explored like crazy. I walked up and down that street from Colonia, going up to the church in the corner, and there's like a supermarket right there next to the church. That's where my daughter got baptized, at the church there in the corner, next to the baseball field. And oh boy, I would frequent that area up and down, walking with my daughter with a stroller, and then we'd go on a taxi during the day, and then at night we would go on the main road up there in Colonia, and it was only, I think we only had VHS at the time, Yeah, maybe in the States they already had DVDs, but international country, I think we were behind time. So we always would rent videos there at the tape store and do a lot of shopping there, grocery shopping. And then there, if you turn off the main road and go more inward down that area, there was another shopping plaza. I can't remember what the name of it was, but oh well. Palikir, we would kind of drive through there. That's where the campus is for College of Micronesia. I think there's another college in Colonia. I think there is, but I think that's like the newer area in Palikir where they got everything, the dorms and classes, and yeah, a lot of government sectors in the Palikir and Colonia area. Rich history of the times of Spaniard era and the German era, possibly even the Dutch era, French era. They had whalings at the time, and lots of rich history there. And yeah, if you look it up, for those of you not too familiar about Pohnpei, you look it up online, YouTube, you see a lot of interesting monuments and stories and beautiful people. The people are so peaceful, friendly, and everything there is like super modernized. I'm from Chuk, and Pohnpei, you guys got it going on there in Pohnpei. And so yeah, let's see, I was there for about 6 months, and I really enjoyed every minute, every day of being there. And if I ever get to visit again, I definitely will. It will be a very happy time to visit. Yeah, so that's the story when I was on Pohnpei, living in Colonia for a while, and then the next time I come back, I'll give a story time of how things were when I was living in Chuk. Chuk was originally Truk at the time, TRUK, another island in Micronesia, but now it's currently Chuk, CHUUK. Yeah, so okay, I'll give a little brief history at the next time I come back of the islands of Micronesia as best as I can. So okay guys, you have a wonderful day, evening, and wherever you are, whatever you do, stay safe and much blessings. Bye.